With my co-host Joanne Thomas. Our next two guests is director David Rountree and actor David Banks of the film Cut. Hope you enjoy. First up, actor David Banks. Let's talk about your character in Cut. Basically, in Cut, how'd you get involved in Cut, and what is your experience after filming Cut?
Well, the involvement was, I've known Rountree for quite some time. We studied in the same class out here many years ago and started doing, a lot of times in LA, actors get, I don't want to say pigeonholed, but stereotyped or kind of shoved into a certain genre they think that the acting coach, sees best. So Rountree was always kind of pushed into the drama thing, which he was very, very good at. And I was always a little envious of that. And I was somehow pushed into the comedy realm, and which I didn't have any complaints about. But I think we kind of wanted to stir the pot up a little bit by doing our own scenes that were out of the norm for us, so to speak. And I think, so I started, along with Rountree, we started writing kind of more things that would show off what we I guess shouldn't be doing, because the coach just insisted on, nope, Rountree, you're a drama guy, that's it, that's all there is to it, you're doing these scenes, and that's it, thanks. You just try to be funny if you can, but you're not going to touch the dramatic side because that's not your thing. I know this because I'm an acting coach. And that, again, no offense, it was an amazing time there, and one of the greatest teachers out here. But we just, I guess we kind of wanted to push that envelope and just see so we started writing scenes that would showcase Rountree on more of the funny level, and then me on more of the dark, twisted, dramatic, nutty guy. So,
okay.
In doing so, we just started with a lot of short films and a lot of short scenes, and it quickly escalated into more of the feature film thing, and then decided hey, you know what, let's write something that's totally unexpected and what we would not ever normally do. So, and again, being huge fans of the horror world, obviously growing up with all the Halloweens, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Sleepaway Camp, I can go on and on.
Wow.
That was what we were just, and I think maybe because I wasn't allowed to watch it, it was one of those things where, no, you're going to watch The Cosby Show and maybe The Jeffersons, but no horror, no violence, no nothing. It's got to be pretty much anything past 8 at night, that's when the TV goes off. So it was, I guess, something that I was never really allowed to have in my household, so I really had this fascination with it. So the minute we talked about writing something along the lines of the horror thriller genre, we just dove right in. And it was a lot of fun for both of us. And it's just something that we can look back at now and say, wow, this was really something exciting for us both, because it was kind of it's kind of a dream project for us both.
All right, well, I guess we'll get Mr. Rountree in here. Mr. Rountree.
Yes, I'm still here.
You are the director of this film that I'll be seeing soon, and we're almost going to have to do a second interview so I can give my thoughts on the film also. That way I know, and we have get more into it. But as you know, David mentioned you as being a character in his film as well as Mr. Simon, correct?
Correct, Travis Simon.
Travis Simon. And obviously it's your baby. You are the co-writer with David, and you're the director. Now, the question that I have for you, it might seem dumb, but sometimes I like to see what an answer is. The outcome of the film and before you made the film, is it very close to how you wanted it to be, or is it better than what you thought it would be?
Originally, David Banks and I had this idea that we were going to get our comedy film made. We were optioned by a studio to do it, and it was not moving. So in the meantime, instead of waiting around for that to happen, we decided to shoot a horror film, which is how Cut was born. So the original concept was we were going to write a loosely improv story. We were going to try to film in about 7 or 8 days and just crank it out there just kind of for fun, see where it goes. We were going to shoot one really elaborate, well-produced scene that really looked professional, where these two guys decide to make a snuff film, and the ending of that scene was going to be, from here on out, we film everything we do. And then we were going to cut the handheld camera and make it real loose and kind of, just get something out there like Blair Witch or Paranormal Activity and make it happen. But
right.
We shot the first scene, and the first scene was so well received. Our distributor and some other people, they said, is the whole film going to look like this? And we said it could. So Banks and I went back to the drawing board and we crafted the entire story. So in that process, we actually created and reshot the beginning and created what Cut became to be. So the original concept, we really didn't know where it was going to go. But the development really took off and became something pretty powerful, and we're pretty happy with it. Where the film actually started, it started with this, very basic idea. And David Banks and I don't think either one of us really realized the potential this thing had until we shot that opening scene. And the opening scene took a whole new life to it. And we said, this really could be something. So when we started crafting the scenes, we had to go back and scrap that entire first day because it didn't really fit with our story. So we reshot that. That scene now takes place in a different location, at a different time period in the movie. And the players in the movie, like Dahlia, who was just on, and Suze Lanier and Gabrielle Stone, and Sam Scarver kind of came into play once we crafted this new story. And then we took over a year at that point to actually make the movie. Where before we were looking at, just a handful of days to do it. And thank goodness, because the studio never moved on our comedy. So we actually have, all that work put into this. Really, it's paid off nicely now. And, we're pretty happy with the end product.
Awesome. Congratulations. That's used to alone just to get an idea like that and to run with it and get that surprise success to get it forward more. For
an independent film to get even completed is such an accomplishment on any level for any filmmaker to finish it, but then people actually see it when it's done and get to have it playing in theaters and on all the VOD outlets and Redbox and Netflix and things like that. There's so many independent filmmakers out there who try to do so many things, but they just aren't able to take it to completion. So to have as many gifts in this film that we were given, and as many people that came on board to really push and help make this thing come together, it's a nice reward now so they can see all their work, and they can see that it actually went somewhere, and we're real happy about that.
There's a lot of horror films, and sometimes when a film is a little bit different that hasn't been done, it kind of puts a new taste in people's mouths. You know what I mean?
Right. And we do feel like the idea is, in an unoriginal film world, it's relatively original, the idea that we have, but not so original that an audience is going to be turned off by it. I think they're going to embrace it and say, wow, this is kind of neat. And one thing that we kind of play on here is that what happens in the story can happen to anybody in any real situation. It really can. And I think that adds to the scare factor of it. And there are a lot of true events that kind of went into the making of this movie. And we loosely say that it's inspired by true events, and that's because it is. There are a lot of true events that kind of inspired the making of this movie. And when people watch something, I think, if you watch a movie with, like Nightmare on Elm Street with Freddy Krueger, the audience will kind of embrace that for what it is, but there's no, real feeling of horror that when you go to bed, someone's going to come attack you like Freddy is. However, when you have a movie where something possibly really could happen to you in that environment, then it starts taking a different twist, and that's kind of where we play. And, I love the old Nightmare on Elm Street movies. The 80s movies you're talking about earlier, David Banks and I are both big fans of that. And,
Good.
That played into our conceptual idea of how we're doing this, and we talk about some of those. So it's,
any movie that you watch that could possibly happen, it's scary, it makes you think, and that's kind of films that really get under my skin that I really enjoy.
Because, like you said, it can really happen. And that's something that, when you watch Cut, it's two guys who want to manufacture a horror movie, but they don't have the ability to do it. So they decide to scare people and put it on camera and try to prank them like a Paranormal Activity, and kind of do these things. But, it goes too far and the first person dies. And when that happens, now what do? You have this situation where one guy, if he even sneezes in the wrong direction, as he says in the movie, he goes back to jail for a long time. And the other guy is trying to make it as a filmmaker, and they've got this amazing footage of this real death that looks like, potentially could be part of a movie. And what do you do with it? And it's a whole dilemma now these guys have, and they've got to run with it and figure out where life's going to take them. And it really takes them to some interesting places. And that's the thing with David Banks' character. People like that are out there, and that's what makes it so scary, because that person is someone that you hang out with. It's somebody who's at work with you, who's someone sitting right next to you all day long, and you don't know what they're capable of. And that's his character.
Jeffrey Dahmer, prime example. Jeffrey Dahmer.
We actually use Jeffrey Dahmer and a few others as kind of the mold to create the different energy in his scenes, because David's character, who is the eccentric serial killer, he does certain things to, take care of what he does. Sometimes he's really nice and sweet. Sometimes he's funny. Sometimes he's a jerk. Sometimes he's angry. You really never know what you're going to get, which makes it very unpredictable, which also makes it fun to watch. If something's predictable, you get bored quickly, but you never know what you're going to get with this character of Lane Hayes. And so that's why I voted him my favorite movie serial killer of the year.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to watch it. I really can't. I'm really excited to.
Well, David does, as David said earlier, he does have a big comedy background, and he's done over 200 national commercials, and most of them are comedy related. And bringing that comedic side to this really dark, twisted role, I think, is what gave it so much life and so much energy, and made him so fun to watch, because he's got that side where you kind of want to laugh at what he says. He's like the guy that kind of picks on somebody, and the group kind of wants to laugh, so they know they shouldn't laugh, but it's still kind of funny, but in a dark way. And that's what Lane is. And you watch him, and you kind of want to laugh at what he says. He says some funny stuff, but it's so mean, you kind of hold yourself back. And
right.
It's fun. I mean, he really says some good stuff. People quote his lines all the time. I've come out of a couple screenings, and people you hear him walking out saying his lines over and over again. And so that's so much fun.
That's awesome.
To see people do that,
Definitely. We're going to have you guys come on again, so that way it'd be fun to get some cast members on here to talk about, our experiences of what I took from it. I'd be able to relate to Lane Hayes or Travis Simon or Chloe Joe, Gabby, just to see, because like you said, films that potentially can be very real are very powerful in people's minds, especially the ones that don't really watch horror that much.
Right.
And they're going, oh, my God.
Yeah, there is something about that when you turn a movie on and it starts with based on true events. I mean, it's something that it's always kind of sucked Rountree and I in big time. It's just something we wanted to kind of tap into, something that's been, that's happened. Because, again, we can all relate to it whether we want to or not. It kind of just moves you in and says, wow, this is really pretty scary. I mean, this is, unfortunately, a lot of stuff was happening, and it wasn't actually based on true events, and that's kind of a downer. But, when it can't, like you said, when it can happen, that wrong turn can be made, and oh my gosh, look what happened. I mean, if there's anything, our lives could change after this conversation. We don't know, and that's the scary thing about today, and where we do.
Do you know what part of Wrong Turn that really got me the most? Is I never really thought about it. Do you imagine being in the woods and somebody has a bow and arrow? You have no idea that they're pointing it at you.
Yep. Oh, no idea. Until it's too late.
Or a gun. I mean, it's scary. I mean, it really is. And it sucks you in like, oh, my God. And then I watched it again. I had people come over and show it to them and not say anything and to see their faces. I love films like that. I mean, it's one of my all-time favorite films from the 2000s is Wrong Turn. I mean, I don't want to get off topic, but it's kind of fun to be able to talk film about, like, your film, what possibly can actually happen.
Well, yeah,
I'm just trying to give it a leeway into your film.
Well, we had inspirations to kind of do this. One of my personal inspirations was Henry, the Portrait of a Serial Killer. That movie was disturbing when I saw that. And, the characters in that really kind of made me think about things in a different light. And that was one of the conceptual ideas of how to create this lane and throw a whole other layer in there. And one thing we do have, being an indie film, most indie films, I think, where they lose out is in the audio, because they don't have a ton of money to make a great film all the way through. They spend their money on maybe their actors or their cameras, things like that. But we were very blessed to have Doghouse Post come on board and do our audio. But Talon Schwalbe, who's an Emmy Award winner, and a Golden Reel winner, she's done 200-some studio films. She did The Goonies back in the day. She did, Pirates of the Caribbean, Rambo. She's done all these movies. So to have her on board with Chris Horgan, who did our sound design, that really took our film, to a whole other level off of the indie circuit. We're definitely an indie film, but we have the audio, which is so powerful in a movie like this, because it is some moments of suspense. It is moments we're trying to build up, and create that adrenaline from the audience. And it's done so well through the audio in these type of movies, and we were blessed to have them come on board and do it. And, there are moments in the film where you're watching it and you don't realize it, but it's been 7 minutes without a single word being spoken,
Right.
But no one misses the dialogue because of what's going on screen, and you're getting inside the minds of these people, and you're you're seeing it from their point of view, and you're seeing it voyeuristically from, the audience's point of view, what's going on, and we play on that, and let the audience be their own worst enemy as far as scaring themselves. We let it, what the eyes see and the ears hear, the mind believes. We play on that, and we let the audience really create for themselves what's happening in the environment. We don't necessarily show everything, and I think that's even more powerful because nobody can scare themselves like themselves. I can't visually capture something on screen that's going to be more horrifying than what their own mind can create. So I want the audience to create that, and that's what we tried to do with this movie.
That is phenomenal. I cannot wait. Because just by talking about it, I'm really more psyched to see it than I was before. I mean, not that I wasn't before, but to be able to watch it and get my perspective of, it's going to be pretty cool. I'm pretty excited.
So. Well, awesome.
I can't wait to see yeah, I can't wait for you.
But yeah, I mean, I just can't wait to see it. So it's great to have you guys on, but we definitely got to do a part 2, the after effects of actually watching it. And
for me, seeing it in the theater is going to be better than seeing it on my computer. So that's that's the way I like to see these movies.
And it is hard when you're reviewing. A lot of people will look at online screeners, and it's difficult because even as a director, an actor will submit to me with an online demo reel, and I'm watching it on my computer, and it's so easy to get distracted. My 3-year-old daughter may run in the room, or I may have an email pop in, or a phone call come in, and I'm stopping my attention on that. But if you're actually sitting down engaged in what you're doing, it really gives it that credibility all the way through. And even, I think we do a Blu-ray screener, so you can sit down and actually watch and enjoy the movie in your own home environment, or possibly come to the theater and watch it, and then you'll get that full attention span into it, and that goes a long way. And so we're appreciative of anything you guys taking the time to watch it. It's just amazing.
No, I think that's great. Rountree and I actually walked into a theater last week just because there is there's nothing that takes place that beats, for me anyway, walking to a theater, shutting off your cell phone, shutting off all communications, kind of just wrapping yourself into that character, whatever. We saw a film called Supremacy last week, and it was amazing from start to finish, very intense. Danny Glover, Joe Anderson, just really, really good acting. This director knocked it out of the park. And it was kind of nice for us to really just, again, shut off the cell phone, sit there and enjoy it and really get into it. And to me, nothing beats that. It almost kind of brings me back to where, like when we were kids, we used to pop the VHS tape in of the brand new, horror film that just came out. And it's just like, wow. And, waiting till your parents went to bed, shutting the lights off, getting the full effect. To me, nothing beats that. And we, it's just, I'll never forget that kind of stuff. So we both walked out just like in awe of wow. And to me, that's kind of what it's all about. And you can walk out just really something to think about for a day or two, or if not more. We'd like to go at our Twitter and our Facebook Live page. That would be amazing. We've always got some new kind of clips and fun stuff up there for people to look, love, like, hate, whatever, all the above.
Well, it's great to have you on here. Thanks again. And all right, guys.
Yeah,
take care. And
Scott, Joanne, thank you guys very much for your time tonight. We really appreciate the opportunity coming on, and we appreciate what you guys do.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll
guys.
see you.
Many blessings, guys.
You too. See ya.
Bye.